It's become a political issue, but this is really an issue about our fire safety. The debate rages on. Should California be fighting back by preemptively thinning our forests? There's a lot of evidence that better forest management will help. Even Governor Newsom admits that. But it comes at a steep cost. Investigative reporter Jaxon Derbeken has the inside story.
And it does break my heart to see so many old dead trees.
Retired Forest Fire Chief Michael Beasley was a so-called burn boss in Yosemite National Park, with a model program that involves setting the forest on fire under controlled conditions to stave off extreme wildfire later. But budget cuts meant Yosemite crews weren't able to get to the park's northern entrance before the Rim Fire got there in 2013, as it burned 400 square miles.
These areas didn't stand a chance with 100 years of fuel accumulation and not a lot of burning.
At the program's height, Yosemite crews were able to burn away 1 million tons of needles, twigs, and branches, a century's worth of dangerously flammable material, in a matter of weeks.
This is considered 1 hour fuel.
Experts say it's that buildup of dangerous kindling, what they call surface and ladder fuel, that directs flames up into the canopy of forests and feeds catastrophic megafires.
This is really a healthy looking forest to me.
Beasley's crews were able to get to this hillside overlooking the Tuolumne River.
This large tree is still alive right here. It looks like it's a red fir, and it's still alive because all the fuels were cleared away in 2002 when we burned here.
But if you hadn't burned here?
No, we might have lost all these old trees like you saw in so much of the rest of the Rim Fire.
This year, California has seen 8,800 wildfires, ripping through 4.5 million acres, the worst year on record. Many forest experts, like Beasley, are frustrated. They say community concerns about smoky air, challenges from environmentalists, and cost-cutting by politicians are slowing the use of critical countermeasures that could reduce the threat from megafires. Some within the firefighting community have been less than enthusiastic. And Beasley says it certainly didn't help when one prescribed burn got out of hand in Yosemite.
But the minute you suggest that the fire was lit purposefully or is being allowed to burn, not being suppressed enough or aggressively enough, then watch the knives come out.
We're going the wrong way.
Former Yosemite ecologist Kristen Shive left the park after the Trump administration killed her proposal to burn 30,000 acres in the forest.
That just wasn't a priority from the federal government, which is, really frustrating to see.
The problem that we as a society have created in terms of how we love our forests to death.
Retired UC Extension forester Mike DeLasso lives in Quincy, a Sierra town surrounded by 3 federal forests. 2 decades ago, he joined an unlikely alliance of environmentalists and the timber industry to convince the Forest Service to create 300,000 acres of fire defense buffer zones. Objections to the logging and air pollution from controlled burns stretched 5 years of work into 15, and costs mushroomed. Although never embraced as a model, DeLasso credits Quincy's buffer zones for helping to finally stop the Northern Complex fire this past August.
It was our work that made a difference. It helped.
It's really just a misguided, prescription.
Fire ecologist Chad Hansen, who heads the John Muir Project, says programs like Quincy are just thinly veiled efforts to justify destructive logging on federal land. The best way to live with fire, he says, is letting lightning-caused fires burn and prepare nearby towns to survive them.
We need more fires, small ones and big ones. What we need to ask ourselves is, how do we keep fires from burning homes? How do we protect and save lives in vulnerable communities from wildland fire?
But Malcolm North, a UC Davis professor and Forest Service researcher, insists the state has to do something to catch up with the millions of acres that burn naturally each year before we started putting everything out.
Use every damn tool you've got. If we could have beavers on crack out there, I'd be donating to that process. Anything that would speed up the pace and scale of this thing.
North says he's encouraged by a state and federal pact to thin 1 million acres annually by 2025. But that's still just a fraction of what's burned throughout California already this year. Jaxon Derbeken, NBC, Bay Area News.